it's Uppity Unicorn here. I don't even remember the name of this episode. Something like No More Nice Tish. Listen, we got Exhibit A, we've got Exhibit B, C, and D. I'm going to hold D here because I need you to utterly take in the facial expression of a truly embarrassed and humiliated spouse. When people are locked in with you and you act like this, the contact embarrassment is so deep. The furrowed brow, that like his mouth is damn near dropped open. Like, oh my God. Except he knows there are cameras around, so he can't just let his jaw drop. Here's another one where he's looking to the bottom of his glass for answers as to what to do with Letitia. Like, come on, Marceau. There's nothing but ice down there. But he's biding his time. Like, how do I fix this situation? My wife is holding the star of the show hostage. And if you zoom in on Mel, behind her glasses is a furrowed brow and a worried. This is a woman who's already got a stalker, already got security. And Letitia's literally, I mean, ain't no Texas Hold'em and ain't no Alabama Hold'em either. So you holding on to this woman, where is that appropriate? Where is that considered normal? And I almost named this video Take Them Damn Shades Off, because that's what she runs into the scene saying to Mel. Mel makes her entrance. Everybody made their damn entrance, okay? Mel makes her entrance looking like the movie star celebrity that she is. She's looking like money. She's looking like millions. She's looking like I walked into a dark room with shades on because I can do that. And because Letitia didn't think of it, because she didn't come up with it, because she didn't think to do it, take them damn shades off. And then Mel says no, and she proceeds to remove the shades for her. And Marcel is sitting there like, why did I have to marry the country bumpkin? Why did I have to marry? And he's in shock looking at this woman, because it's like every day you become Miss Wanda. Every day you become Wanda. And there's nothing I can do about it. You know, Wanda's a lush. Wanda's a day drunk. And Letitia can barely, I mean, she's throwing these drinks back. She's throwing them back. And of course, here comes babysitter Kimmy to the rescue, because Marceau's sitting there like, if I put my hands on my wife to remove her, I'm going to look away. Like, he's doing this great big mathematical equation in his head, trying to solve for why. And Kimmy does what she did in the backyard brawl with Kiki, where Marcel told mommy, aka Kimmy, and he's like, she threw a drink on Letitia. And Marcel's looking around for help, and Kimmy's like, it's okay, baby, I've got it. I've got it. And she has to literally disconnect Letitia from Melody. She has to unintertwine them in this photo, which, I mean, it's not captured properly, but she has to yank both of Tisha's hands off of Mel as gently as she can so as not to offend Letitia, because you see Letitia looking at her like, F is wrong with you. Like Kimmy's doing something wrong. And look at Courtney in the back. That's a photo bomb if I've ever seen it. Because every spouse knows this is embarrassing for your wife to act this way. Like, a man who wants to be proud of his wife, he wants you to go into the room and basically be Melody. You know, that's why a lot of these women on the show, they can't help but Imitate melody, because that gives a man pride. And when you're married to a narcissist, you sort of kind of have to be perfect and ideal. It's an abusive kind of grooming that is really hard on a woman, especially as young as Mel was getting into the relationship. But zoom in on Mr. Courtney. For as much as I dislike Stormy, I really like Courtney, and I do like their marriage. They are solid as a rock. They are solid as a rock, and that is a beautiful thing. That there's a thing about me where one of my mini majors was journalism, and I'm able to call a thing with integrity, even though I feel a different kind of way. Many of you may know already, Stormy Steele and Anthony Loftus worked together to demonetize my platform. I have been demonetized since around late March, early April, and I will not have a chance to make any money from this channel or this content until August. And basically, they claimed a photo that was public domain. Public domain legally means anyone can use this photo. So, you know how you find things on TikTok and you share them, and no one's going to hit you with a copyright strike because they're public domain. You know how you go to Google Images and you find a picture there, and maybe you turn it into a meme. It's of Kiki Palmer, it's of Angela Bassett, it's of Michael Jackson, and it's okay because it's public domain. They took a picture from my channel, which was public domain, and they claimed it under Stormy Still Photography. And I showed that many uploads ago on my channel. And when a wonderful AKA, a wonderful, brilliant mind woman, she went and she researched business licenses for Stormy Still Photography in Alabama and Tennessee, in Mississippi. And the reason she did those, Stormy's from Mississippi. That's why she's quicker letter when she talks. Um, Alabama, where she currently is in Huntsville, and of course Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, where Anthony Loftus resides, because his email address, when I clicked to appeal the decision, it was his email address that they wanted me to contact. And I know that because it was something like Anthony Loftus 666 at Gmail or Yahoo or AOL, whatever the hell it was. But there's a video about that already and it's public. So the good sister, the good AKA, she researched it and she was like, this is fraud. This does not exist. And had I appealed it, I would be in the position of Wente Talks, who is currently being stalked, right? She appealed the decision and she won. And then Anthony Loftus posted more, ha ha ha. I got everything that I wanted. Which was her address, right? Because when you appeal, you've got to put your first name, your last name, your address, and your phone number. And so he has that information of hers, has shared that information with other people, and they have sent. The stalking is local. It's not just, and I'm choosing my words carefully because I did not clear this statement with Tay, but I will just say the stalking is local, and that's terrifying for a single woman who lives in Detroit. These people are monsters. These people are monsters. These people are monsters. Moving on along back to Touchy Tisha. Those glasses on Mel's face cost more than everything Letitia is wearing, except for maybe her wedding ring. Those glasses on Mel's face. Remember when Mel sent Tank into the store and he bought $600 glasses, and they were up in arms? And so you have these people, they're not even trying to keep up with the Joneses. They're trying to keep up with the Holt kids. Mel had a Christmas spread where her kids were in red bottoms, and then Marcel went and got some red bottoms and broke both of his ankles during the reunion just to make sure his red bottoms were pointing towards the camera so you could see that they were red. Like, tell me you've never had anything nice without telling me you've never had anything nice. Put your feet on the ground, sir. Put your feet on the ground, sir. That was so, I've never had anything nice coded. It just, boy, He had his legs crossed up to the thigh. Up to the thigh. That was so much. It was so much. Sir, what are we doing here? How did we get here? But these glasses, and she goes with her nasty, sticky hands after holding cups full of condensation and liquor, wet on the outside, sticky on the inside, and goes and starts touching on these women's glasses who she could pay some of her debts with. And Mel is being ever so classy. She goes, no, 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 no. Like she verbally expresses her boundaries, and Letitia will not stop. So Kimmy has to mosey on along over to go and collect her sister in law. You're embarrassing all of us. Scott, Scott, Scott. I count 3 Scots. How many Scots does it take to stop Letitia from shaming the family name? And you see on the following preview, you have Marceau and Letitia having a kitchen scene where he's berating her and telling her, like, what were you doing? And she's like, you don't have to tell me about every bad thing I do. He's like, you think that's every bad thing you do? You think And she just makes this wrinkled up face. I'm just like, if you can't trust yourself drunk, then you need to Karen Huger your way out of that stuff. You need to water something down and back away. But it's like she wanted the liquid courage. And here's what I personally think set her off. Who's that not daughter but daughter of Nell Fletcher? When she said Nell was unbothered, which is not true. Nell was very bothered. Nell called when Lexi had that interview with that blogger, Nell called Melody cursing and screaming and crying. And we already saw that scene. So we know Nell was bothered. But her not so daughter, not so whatever, was trying to protect her and was like she was unbothered. And Marcel's like, why does everybody want to look unfazed and unbothered? And she's like, well, if you let everything affect you. And he's like, well, people are bragging about. She said, who bragging? And that face she made when she said who bragging is like she wanted to come across the room and hurt that man. The aggression on her face was like, swing, ho. It was a lot. And Letitia kept trying to look at the girl to see what was going on. And I'm like, you clearly see what is going on, but you are sizing her up. And you know that you're out of your weight class. That's a big girl. That's a big, sturdy girl. Letitia knew she was out of her weight class and she got sunned again. A woman is talking to her husband, putting him in his place, and he's using his high voice. And when Marceau is using his high voice, he's flustered. So he might talk to you about something like, I'm in my element. This is black excellence, chocolate in a bottle, and I'm living the life. And then, well, people are acting like they're unbothered and unfazed. And why does people have to brag about stuff like that? Why is it a good thing to be unfazed? Why, he's flustered. And this girl has got him flustered. And Letitia is looking and looking and looking, and she's trying to buck, but the coward in her won't allow her to. And my thing is, usually Tisha's a coward without cause, and I look down on that. But in this situation, I mean, this is a safety matter. And you have to sit there and let that woman place your husband because you can't do anything. And as much as Kimmy talks, she can't do anything. You heard it here first. She can't do anything with all the aggression, and I'm going to help Maurice push Kiki up out of this house. You didn't get aggressive until Maurice had his hands fully around that woman. So ain't no knucking and bucking from the two of them. If there was in the past, there wasn't today. And I think that spun Letitia's energy to be negative for the rest of the night because she couldn't protect her husband when he needed it because she was out of her weight class, verbally and physically. And so for the rest of the night, she's bucking on everybody who she thinks she can. Walks up to skinny ass Melody. Slim Mel puts her hands on her body, right? And she's like, "Well, you said you had something to say to Martha." And look at Mel's face. Mel looks like her breath stinks. Not like Mel's breath stinks, but like Letitia's breath stinks. She's being accosted, and Mel is always pitted as the bad guy. So Mel is probably doing another mathematical equation, like, how do I shake this girl's hands up on my body without appearing like I've pushed or shoved her? How do I do this without looking like the bad guy? And then here Kimmy comes to disconnect this damn porpoise. I mean, she sat on Mel like a barnacle. She did, and it's like, let go. What are you doing? And you think, what's his name? Courtney is the photobomb over here, laughing at these stooges. There was a bottle girl in the background of one of these scenes. And you see that black curtain behind Mel and Letitia? There was a bottle girl behind there, and she was looking at Letitia like Letitia had grown 2 extra heads. I mean, just behavior embarrassing. Embarrassing. Even she who had nothing to do with they had to drop the curtain. A photo bomb if I've ever seen it. She was looking she was like, is this woman serious? Go back and watch that scene and look for the backgrounds. Everybody is like, oh my God, you have got to be kidding me. What is this, honey? What is this? And I don't know. I mean, Letitia is such a hateful bully, and then she does this stuff and she gets sheepish after. Martha, you don't have to tell me about everything I did wrong. Yes, he does, because how will you improve? And you're embarrassing him too. He has every right. You embarrassed him as a spouse. Look at this man. It's like Marcel believes in witchcraft. It's like he's reading tea leaves, asking the ice what to do. Look at him. Like if you stuck a turban on that man, a little head wrap and a robe. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Mirror, mirror in the cup. He doesn't know what to do. You embarrassment. You embarrassment. And what's crazy is she sets people up or tries to set people up for the embarrassment that she cannot avoid. You know, this scene for her when she wakes up from her liquid courage drinks and is embarrassed when it sets in. She tried to do this with Mel at the tea party, right? When Mel hosted that tea party, when she tried to bombard her with Carson and Carson's revenge porn news. I know a lot of people can't say revenge porn, but thanks to Stormy Steele, Yo Money, and Anthony Lofties, I can, because my channel is demonetized. There is no way somebody's going to take money from me for saying porn because the money has already been taken. Um, but she tried to ambush her on 3 separate occasions with Carson. And one of the other occasions was, what is it? Martell's I Can Barely Read from a prompter as I Nest Wine launch, his second, his relaunch. If Mel gonna be here, if Mel coming? No, ho, she's not coming. It, this is nasty work. I don't like to see it. My thing is, even if you're an enemy of someone, you have to like keep your own dignity. Keep your own dignity and keep your own pride in check. I'm not telling someone I'm jealous of to unjealous me. Take them damn shades off. Why? Because they cost more than what you and your husband are wearing combined? And Mel was real nice about it. That was offensive. For you to be on camera in front of a crowd of people, lights, camera, action, and you telling me to take my damn shades off like you are my mother, like you can command me to do anything for nothing in return other than you dominating me. It's like, I don't know where y'all are at, but I'm at a club and I'm finna have a good time. Mel said something to that effect, and she still has her sticky liquor hands on them expensive shades. Girl, if you don't bag back, my autism could never. I'm telling you now, as much as I feel that I can be composed in conflict, once you put your hands on me, my family is not even sure what I'm capable of. Like you know how families have urban legends? I'm one of the urban legends in my family. There are new women to our family who just look at me like they can't make sudden moves. And I'm like, who did this to you? Well, your mom told me you would beat me up. Well, your brother told me that you punched through walls and windows. And well, I'm like, all of this is true, but I'm also really shy. And I'm also really sweet. And I'm also really, but if I just sit somewhere quiet, I look troubled. And it just, I don't know, it just, autistics don't necessarily hold their faces the way that everybody does. Sometimes we have flat affect, but once I start talking, I'm like, I'm sugary sweet. You've not done anything wrong. But it's like, even my cousins would use me to threaten girls, growing up, middle school, whatever. Y'all don't want me to call chocolate. Y'all don't want me to call chocolate. And I'm like, what is this? I'm somewhere, making a little daisy garland. You know how people tie daisies and knots and then put it around their head like a crown. I'm somewhere doing shit like that, but I have a switch. I have a switch that I have been in therapy for a long time learning how to control. My middle sister calls me the Incredible Hulk. Okay. Um, I have a switch that I believe that I've learned how to control through therapy. And you grow a switch when you're the bullied autistic kid. You grow from PTSD. You develop a part of yourself that puts up a fight because people can be incessant with bullying. So you develop, maybe your bark isn't so developed, but you develop a hell of a bite. And my family's like, here's chocolate, she bites. Put your dog away. It bite. No, it don't. Yes, it do. So I'm saying that to say that even when I was watching the scene, I was flushed. And I like hollered at the screen. Because keep your hands to yourself. You don't know how people have been touched and violated and whatever. And you catch people off guard by getting in their personal space and touching their body. I mean, you're liable to pull back a nub. Like, just keep your hands to yourself. Just be decent. As much as we want to call Stormy ghetto and whatever else, and maybe we can't take away from the fact that she's a little bumpkin, but in reality, you don't see her casually putting her hands on people that she's not okay with. I mean, if we're comparing Betty Steele and Wanda Moore home training, I mean, here is where Betty and Stormy win. Because even Stormy doesn't do that, and Stormy is always trying to tell somebody to get active and talks to people like she's a fighter. And I'm not, we saw Stormy in person. I'm like, you a little woman. You're a little woman. You talking a lot. You're not Trish. You're not Latricia. This is not how you're made. This is not how you're built. She talks about she wants to compete in a body competition, some kind of a, what is it, bodybuilding competition. We'll see, Stormy. We'll see how you do that in kids and a business, and worried about little Black female content creators all over YouTube and trying to destroy their channels and take food out of their mouth. We'll see if you can balance that. But even Stormy is not walking around putting her hands on people that she knows she's not all the way cool with. And even Letitia's so handsy in the same setting, not the same scene, but on the following episode, you're going to see where she also grabs Nell around the wrists. And it's like, "Ho, don't touch. We are not in a good place." She did this with Mama Van when Mama Van was arguing with Wanda in her little brain. And she grabbed Miss Van, and Miss Van was like, "You don't grab somebody in a disagreement. Like, why the hell does Mama Van have to raise you and you're already over 40 while you're busy talking about unhappy middle-aged women?" This is the epitome of unhappy middle-aged woman. I mean, you're drunk as a skunk, touching people and arguing with people at a birthday party. Mel walked in there. You're like, "You had something to say to Martha." And Mel was like, "Listen, I do, but not here. This is Nell's birthday party and we're going to respect it. She did what you demonstrated that you couldn't do. This is why you're not a match. This is why you can't sit with Mel. I'm so happy you were literally on the other side of her because that was symbolic of the reality. You can't sit with her. Why are you doing this?" She grabbed Nell around the wrist. She grabbed Melody around the wrist. She grabbed Mama Van around the wrists. Like, why are you grabbing people in hostile situations? And how I mean, kicked in your forehead, elbowed in your throat. I'm shaking. Just please do not. I can. You can't just touch everybody. And I hope and pray that one day you don't end up touching somebody who goes ballistic from the unwelcomed touch. Martell talked about Mel allegedly being molested as a kid and said that to Ariane. In my honest opinion, I think he was telling his own story. When I look at Martell, and y'all are not gonna like that I'm saying this because I don't have any proof. All I have is my feelings and my senses. But I look at Martell and I see a person who was not only molested as a kid, but turned around and did it to other kids. That's my opinion. That is something I cannot prove. But when he talked about he was babysitting and how kids are so easy to be manipulated and blah blah blah, and he always had kids at the house, and the way that he talks about his life, and eh, I just mm-mm. I think maybe a cousin or two, maybe a family friend or two, that somebody thought he was a handsome kid and took advantage of him and ruined his little mind. And maybe he ruined some other people and got with Melody and tried to ruin her too. And I got a lot of low opinions of Martell and what I think his origin story is. And you can be mad that I think this way, but I'll tell you like this, 1 in 3 Black girls have been touched. We all know a molested girl, but we somehow don't know no molesters, right? We all know the molested girls, but we don't know no molesters, right? Because some of these mad men y'all are trying to hump on, y'all are trying to touch on, y'all are trying to, I'll tell you a family story. I won't tell you the players, but these are elders of mine, uh, a few ancestors even. The family member of mine was raped pregnant, okay, by her husband's brother. And her best friend wanted to marry that man. And she said, "Bestie, don't do it. He did this to me." And she didn't believe her. And so they ended up at a family mud-bugging funeral. And my family member showed up with her eldest son looking like her husband's twin. And I have a photo from 1970 something where this woman is staring at the son of my relative like she has just seen a ghost. Because after all them effing years, you have the walking, talking, breathing proof of when your best friend said This man raped me. Don't do it. You see, some people, I don't go to their channels because Love and Marriage Huntsville is just a show. Team the show. It's just a show. These are real life circumstances, and it's powerful living if you can look at these things with a critical eye and apply them to your own community and the issues in your own community. They are a microcosm of the macrocosm. We can solve problems in our own lives if we're looking at Love and Marriage Huntsville with a critical eye. Um, I hope that story meant something to y'all because it gave me a headache to tell it. That like the back of my head is on fire after talking about that. Um, but I have my ideas about Martell, and people think because a nigga is charismatic and handsome that why would he have to take something from somebody? Sometimes these are the Negroes who feel entitled. Why would Chris Brown, with his fine, successful millionaire, whatever, why would he have to stalk Carucci? Why would he have to? Sometimes people just fixate. Sometimes people just feel entitled. Why ask why? Hell, we don't know. We don't know why. But you can't just let because somebody has money, because somebody's fine, because somebody has success, that well, they can't be a monster because it's a lot of CEOs who are monsters. It's a lot of corporate sharks who are monsters. You'd be surprised on the psychopathy on some of these people and how some of these people, the only reason they get to such high levels of success is because of antisocial personality disorders, of being able to just smite all things in their path to win. So I have my ideas. I have my ideas. Um, this is a half an hour video. I didn't mean to make this long. I know I say that all the time, but I mean it. Tisha, this ain't Texas, and ain't no hold 'em. Let go of Mel. I am Uppity, and I'm out of here. I'm gonna close by saying I do have a GoFundMe for my mother. If you would like to join me in the fight against multiple myeloma cancer, the link will be in the description below. Um, thank you for your support. I have a playlist called Multiple Myeloma, so you can get to know what the cancer is, what it does, how it develops, and what a person can do about it. Up and I'm out.